So it's delightful to have you with us on this beautiful morning, this gorgeous morning. And let's have a round of applause for all of you for showing up. Please join with me in knowing our mission here at Unity of Charlotte to nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. And I'm Reverend Pat Dre, and I am delighted to be with you on this very special morning. We're going to start today's service by sharing our statement of oneness, and then that'll lead us into our opening prayer. So say with me, there is one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God, the good omnipotence. And so we start out this morning with our daily word, and it is awareness. And as always, daily word hits it right on the right spot. The world feels new as I grow in awareness. Spending time in mindful contemplation increases my awareness of my surroundings. And as I concentrate and focus my attention, I shut out distractions. I settle my unquiet mind. My world begins to feel brighter, vibrant, and more alive as I notice the soft sounds and the minute textures and colors I may have overlooked. Spending time in prayer increases my awareness of God's goodness, which I share with others when I am patient and kind, generous, and forgiving. This goodness returns to me as kindness and gentleness in the people I meet, and ease and grace in all the places I go. The world has not changed, but I have. My awareness of God in and as my life has opened my eyes and ears, my mind and my heart. Open my eyes so that I may behold the wondrous things out of your law. Psalms. Thank you again for being with us. For those of you joining us here and on Zoom, we love having you. We love having our talk available to you. And on normal Sundays in the near future, we hope, we're going to have a program for children and teens. So please stay tuned for that. And we have a wonderful program for this fall, and you're going to want to hear those details. And if anyone you know is in need of prayer, you can place a prayer request through our website. We do have some events that are coming up, and we have the Unity Men's Group, which meets twice a month here in the church on Wednesdays at 9:30. And the Affirmative Prayer and Meditation Group is Tuesday evenings at 7:15 via Zoom to set a prayerful energy for yourself and for everybody. And so we have dialogue as service on Wednesdays and a book club once a month. Next one is on September 19th, and the Course in Miracles on Thursdays. We have a family, we have a town hall, because we are family, I guess, that is coming up on September 24th. So please be here with us so that you can hear everything that's going on with Unity. We have training for the ushers and greeters. And so please see Maria or Michael or Hugh. Yes. For more information. Thank you. You see, it's in such small print, I can't read it. So I'm guessing what's in there, And I'm mostly right, but not 100% right. So there we go with so many wonderful things happening. It's my joy to do the affirmation for our new minister. And so join with me in that. Together, we affirm that we are calling in and are ready to receive another wonderful minister. He's wise, sincere, humorous, collaborative, and who openly walks a spiritual path of love, growth, and service. And so it is. Yay, God. Thank you. It's my pleasure this morning to be able to say just a few words to introduce our new speaker for today, who is not new to you at all. But when he was first new to me, I believe it was when I was at Colors as a supporting minister to Reverend Claire Middleton. And when I first chatted with him, something pretty special happened to me. And that was, I was in the presence of someone who had enormous credibility. Now, he didn't say so. He didn't do anything to prove it. He just was. And this is why I knew. And then in that sort of subconscious way that you meet people, you think about it and you think about it later. Why was that such a special moment? And that's when I came to a few conclusions. And one of those was that I made my permanent spot in the church very close to where he was sitting. One of the things that you may or may not know about Lawrence Toliver is his first job was working in the steel mills of Pennsylvania in a very coveted job. Now, how does somebody in or around high school get a job like that, especially in those days? Credibility. He comes from a family of high credibility, great intelligence, and inner wisdom. Please welcome Lawrence Toliver.
Thank you so much, Reverend Pat. Reverend Pat has been a wonderful associate since we were able to meet those many years ago. And it is really a blessing to continue to be in partnership with her as we move forward with new thought, as we support Unity of Charlotte, and as we reach out to people so that they might know the power that is available to them. So please join me for a word of prayer. Father, Mother God, the power to shape my destiny lies within me through the power of my faith. I have faith that you accept me unconditionally and that you say a resounding yes to my heartfelt convictions and words. I choose to believe the best about myself and my world. Today, I mindfully and intentionally use my gifts of discernment to help create a better, healthier world. Oh God, you are wisdom. I let inner wisdom guide me. I claim oneness with your divine wisdom and Christ consciousness, which expresses as my decisions and actions. I focus my thoughts on positive ideas. It is my sacred responsibility and pledge to uplift and heal this world through my words and actions. As I thank you, I release these truths knowing that through you, they continue to manifest in my life. And so it is. I want to thank this great and wonderful spiritual community here at Unity of Charlotte for having embraced me as a community member since 2013. I want to also thank the leaders of the climate activist community who are here today for embracing me as one of their own since 2018. Both of you are global forces for good. Both the climate activist community and Unity of Charlotte are global forces for good because you are capable of embodying a shared vision. I want unity communities and climate activists to agree upon a shared vision. I want us to be very specific and agree and affirm that we intend to experience an earth whose temperatures are falling. I want us to agree and affirm that we intend personally to experience an earth whose temperatures are falling. As Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, has written, "For all thought is formative. All thought has its effects in our lives." There are two things I want to accomplish this morning. I want to introduce my spiritual community to the marvelous opportunity that green faith offers us. I was looking for a special guest from Green Faith. Oh, there she is, bless her heart. She's here. One of our special guests this morning is Reverend Amy Brooks Paradise. Reverend Amy, can you please stand so that Unity can recognize you? This is Reverend Amy. Reverend Amy is a Unitarian Universalist minister who is engaged ecumenically across the globe as she draws congregations into the Green Faith movement. Through my association with her, I have already met religious leaders in Australia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas. Green Faith equips congregations to stretch their faiths into various climate actions. And I want Unity of Charlotte to join Green Faith. The second goal I have this morning is to persuade Unity of Charlotte members and climate activists to stretch their heartfelt convictions to take responsible ownership of a faith-based solution to the fever that our miraculous earth is experiencing. I want us all to take responsible ownership of a faith-based solution. Climate activists are primarily relying on their intellect to address the climate crisis. They tend to leave their faith on the sidelines. That's why Unity believers can be helpful. Right now, Mark Van der Heij is on astronaut duty at the International Space Station. Again, his name as an astronaut is Mark Van der Heij. His last name is spelled H-E-I. 2 weeks ago, as he viewed our home from his position on the space station, he said, and I quote, "This is the place that we need to be able to live." So it's important that we take ownership of whatever we can do to help maintain it. It's important that we take ownership of whatever we can do to help maintain the earth. Earth has been the sustainer of all the life we know of. And that has been going on for millions of years. The men and women who are raising Earth's temperatures are doing so willingly. I had wanted to put a picture of one of the big oil pumps. You know, they look like great big grasshopper arms. And you know how often they pump the oil out of the earth? They do it 24/7. 24/7. And there are thousands of them around the world, hundreds of thousands of them, just pumping. They don't ever stop pumping. Our faith needs to operate as consistently and regularly as that. We are combating that extraction. That's what we are combating. And the machines don't stop. We should not stop applying our faith and our affirmations of our visions for the future. The habit of exploiting Earth and the many lives it sustains has persisted from the time that Lucy learned how to walk upright. Do you know who Lucy was? Lucy is the name that scientists, paleontologists have given to the first chimp or primate who dropped out of the trees and walked upright. That's Lucy. I'm asking everyone to take ownership of a faith-based solution to break the fever. Let me begin with this unsettling claim. Our youth do not benefit from witnessing their elders, us in this room, acting unfaithful and powerless. How does that help a young person to see you and me acting faithless and powerless? Everyone here needs to know that the one who is in you is greater than anyone who is in the world. That happens to be scripture. 1 John, 4th chapter, 4th verse. The one who is in each of you is greater than anyone who is in the world. Now, during my 8 years with Unity of Charlotte, I have increasingly embodied the principles and practices of unity. I have grown spiritually. I have nurtured a deep, mature experience of God through my practices of unity principles, and I practice daily. When I walked through these doors on January the 6th of 2013, I was a fully developed activist. my understanding of peace has deepened. I not only strive for peace on earth, I also strive to be the voice of planetary peace. I'm going to make a claim that for me is a true claim. The peace of the earth is more critical than peace on earth. Why would I say that? Without a peaceful, that is to say, healthy earth, there may be no life at all. I remind you of this. When you discover an infant with a 104-degree fever, your correct and automatic reaction is to break the fever. Earth has a need for urgent care from you and you and you. Earth has a need for urgent care. The free fever of the earth, the rising temperatures you keep hearing about, have to be broken. Do something about the fever first. You can have a whole lot of other high visions. I got no problem with that. I have a lot of high visions. But I know what's first. When the baby has 104 temperature, the first thing to do is to break the fever. You can think about other steps after you break the fever. Am I making any sense to you? The life of the earth depends upon you. I have also learned about the teachings of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, founder of Transcendental Meditation. In the 80s and 90s, his followers conducted 48 large-scale experiments to document the power of collective meditation for peace. They documented, they proved the power of collective meditation for peace. Those experiments are chronicled in a great book called Permanent Peace. It is written by Robert Coles. I've devoured that book more than once. For 5 years, I hosted a peace assembly right here at Unity, where we demonstrated the validity of collective meditation for peace. During meditation in 2017, I was awakened to the significance of climate activists who are scattered around the globe. Since acquainting myself with climate activists 3.5 years ago, spiritual discernment has revealed that climate activists have millions of allies all over the planet. I do have a number of friends. I've introduced one already, Reverend Amy. But in addition, there are other leaders of climate activism in our community, in our midst. Jerome Wagner, if you'll just stand quite quickly, that's Jerome. He is the coordinator for 350 Charlotte. And in addition, we also have Holly. Holly can stand. She is with Climate Reality and also Green Faith. Thank you, Holly. Holly Holly was bold enough to invite me to be a speaker at a demonstration yesterday at noon at the offices of North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis. And it was a wonderful demonstration. Holly was taking a risk. Holly risks having me stand up in front of her people and not reviewing my speech. Well, you know what? I just went off since basically she said, you can do what you want to do. So I did. And we had a good time, didn't we, Holly? And Jerome was there filming everything. So it was a good time had by all 40 of us who were present. We had a great demonstration there. Even though I'm naming these individuals, I want you to know that climate activists are not the only ones addressing the climate crisis. They're not by themselves. There is a multi-layered force for planetary peace already in place, a multi-layered force for planetary peace that is already in place. It is just awaiting our recognition and our spiritual practices. And just a bit later, I will tell you who these other groups are and how many of them there are. Because I want you to feel empowered when you leave here today. I want you to know you're not by yourself. And I want you to feel confident that others are seeking planetary peace. That is to say, planetary healing. These other people have intentions and visions of a healthy earth too. Faith communities around the globe can apply their spiritual practices in a way that amplifies our shared vision. The organization of which I am president, Peace Centers International, underwrote the publication of Here's Peace, a small booklet that I wrote, and also Waves of Peace, Collective Meditation in Worldwide Practice, Waves of Peace, by the Reverend Dr. Margot Rourke. Reverend Dr. Margot Rourke. Waves of Peace can be accessed on the internet. We know why, Reverend Margot and I, we know why and how collective meditation magnifies the power of faith, any faith. You don't have to be New Thought for faith to work. Any faith. That's why Reverend Amy's group is bringing together all faiths under one umbrella to heal the earth we occupy. All faith has power. But it's important for us to know why our faith is working. Peace Centers International has the capacity to train believers in about 40 different religions, how collective meditation has manifested in their specific traditions throughout the centuries. So the book that I showed you, Waves of Peace, actually has script that describes the collective meditation traditions of over 40 faith practices and traditions. A very useful book for anyone who wants to magnify their own power and the power of their group. It's right there, waiting. The work, the research has been done, and it is available. We know that collective meditation, Alan, amplifies whatever it focuses upon. Now, let me clarify by way of example. I'm getting ready to do something here. My friend from Columbia, Redfern, Bishop Redfern, you're going to like this. It makes me sound like Malcolm X. Watch. Oxford defines leaven as a pervasive influence that modifies something or transforms it for the better. Unity believers and other faith believers have the capacity to be leaven. You can manifest the truth you know by amplifying it, by practicing your faith, spiritual practices together, collectively. So the collective practice of your faith acts like leaven. It magnifies and makes better what it focuses upon. You can sit and exercise power, more power than you've ever known, by collaborating together. We can be a pervasive influence within 3 groups of activists all over the world. We can influence climate activists, scientists of all types, and indigenous believers to be greater proponents for a healthy planet. Unity believers and other green faith congregations can exercise pervasive influence. A pinch of our faith can make each one of these groups stronger and more effective advocates and activists. Now, why would I say that scientists are in alignment with truth? Well, science has to document that the fever of the earth is going up. They are proving through their documentation that it is not a fiction that the temperature is rising. It's real. Scientists are interested in the truth. They are not interested in fiction. They don't invest themselves in fiction. We can turn to scientists as a collective that wants its knowledge to spread. All scientists want their knowledge to spread. That means they want us to recognize there's a fever and do something about it. So they're allies. And what about indigenous believers? Let me be clear. I'm talking about the native peoples throughout South America, throughout North America, throughout Africa, Southeast Asia, throughout the tundra and other Arctic locations. I'm talking about native people who know there is no separation between the creator and the created. They know that the creator infuses everything created. Since the creator is infinite, how could it be otherwise? How could it be otherwise? So these indigenous believers are already where we want people to be. Meaning, they know that they are a part of this great creator. Whereas I had to be taught to see the truth here at Unity. The indigenous believer comes up knowing they are part of the creator in their lives. Now, I wanted to be certain when I shared a few numbers with you. So I made contact with an expert, and the expert is called Google. Google says there are 8 million or more climate activists. It estimates that there are 8 million or so scientists. It estimates there are 370 million to 500 million indigenous believers. Now, who says we didn't have power? Think about those numbers. Those are our target audiences. We need to be reinforcing, strengthening what they are doing when they pray, when they meditate, when they research. We need to apply our faith in a way that is leavened. We activate and strengthen our faith when we know we are faithful, when we feel we are faithful, and when we act upon that faith. There will come a day when we faithfully act as though the fever has been broken. On that day, we will demonstrate our victory by conducting a memorial service for fossil fuels. That's right. On the premise that our demonstrations ought to affirm our visions, I vote to celebrate our victory over fossil fuels by conducting a New Orleans-style funeral march with instruments, singers, dancers, and flutes. In this way, we are acting as though our affirmation is real. That's what a real demonstration. See, the difference between a demonstration and a protest, Redfern, I need to help people know that there's a difference. A protest is when you stand in the streets and they point to somebody else and you say, they're responsible, do something about it. A demonstration is when you act as though you have the power to make the change. Example, when Rosa Parks took a seat where she wanted to on that bus, was she pointing a finger at somebody? No. She was exercising her right to choose a seat anyway. She acted as though she had that right, and she sat. When the demonstrators in Greensboro, North Carolina, decided to have the first sit-in at a restaurant, were they pointing fingers at somebody? They weren't protesting. They were demonstrating the right they had to sit in that restaurant. That's a demonstration, not a protest. So, when we have a demonstration, Jerome and Holly and Amy and all of the other people here that's going to join us, when we have a demonstration, let's demonstrate that fossil fuels have been buried. Let's have a funeral. Let's celebrate like they do, celebrate the past life of fossil fuels with dancers, singers, songs, bands, instruments, and floats. Claim your truth. When? Now. When Martin Luther King had a dream, he was doing his best to live the dream. Right then, in 1963, in Washington, D.C., he was doing his best to live the dream. And the reason that the speech has been long-lasting and keeps getting repeated is because people want to step into it and embody it. We want to step into our belief. So right now, I want the last slide to be put on the screen. I want all of us to stand and repeat what you see on the screen. Come on, up we go. And you can start with me. Together, we agree and affirm that we experience an earth whose temperatures are falling. And I close by reciting from 1 Peter 3rd chapter 8. Finally, all of you have unity of spirit. Thank you.
Am I surprised? No. Am I stunned? Yes. I guess I am just in a beautiful place after that, Lawrence. And coming up on our experience of gratitude, that's the perfect lead-in. I want to say that I am so moved by the idea of responsible ownership and the importance of being the pump 24/7, because that's what we're made of. That is what we're made of. And if there is a fever, we can do something about it. We are the leaven, and we can step into the dream, and we can be that dream, and we can claim to be the truth right now. So I am here knowing that your affirmation, our affirmation is real. And we can claim it and know it, and the fever is broken right now. And so it is. As we lead into this time of offering and gratitude, you see, they won't let me walk around. So much for freedom. They won't let me, I get these motions to move back to the camera. So something that you don't know that was a gift to me earlier was the song, "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning." And that was a gift from Lawrence to me. We were attempting to get my husband here today, who loves that song and knows it well. He has some significant mobility issues. And he was so pleased, Lawrence, to hear that that was the launch of today. And I am grateful for all the goodness that flows in and through Unity, and all in and through this beautiful green movement. And so as we talk about the idea of gratitude, I would like you to hold to your heart what you are grateful for today. And let that energy that is within you and that you are made of, yes, the Creator within. Know with me that this gratitude and this ability to share all the goodness that we've been blessed with is that which increases our ability. So join with me in the prosperity blessing. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is our time to share our generosity, and there are several ways you can do it. There is our icon for donate at the website. You can use the old snail mail method, or you can bring it to church. Those are all wonderful ways, and I like to bring my circulation and hold it to my heart because I know it's good for me. All right, and now to our choir. What do you have for us? I would like it repeated, but we'll do that later and we'll join in the peace song. And when we're ready, we will do a beautiful prayer together. That is our prayer of protection. And I love this prayer. I was a little wary of it when I first heard it because I thought, if I am knowing what is within and what I express, why do I need a prayer of protection? Well, it's just to remind me. And so it's a fabulous prayer. And so if you would join with me, and I also want to preface this just before we say this prayer, I'm going to have you stand for it. I want to tell you we exit very quickly here because our Sikh community is coming in to prepare for their community event. And what we do is we move the chairs to the sides, and those that are part of our stacking committee, they are stacking, and then we quietly move to our community room, which is straight through those doors. And it's also called the prayer room. And that's where we have fellowship. So join with me in the prayer of protection by rising, please. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.